swing around this way. Go a bit closer, please, so it's just not to raise my voice too much. And we're going to start from here. Okay. So again, I'm conscious that we have like a mixed group, so we're going to do some half guard passing, and I'm going to just explain a couple of the details of half guard if you weren't for the class here for the class before. So what I'm going to think about is just kind of like two battles with Al here. The first one is obviously with his legs. Okay, that's where he has my leg trapped. So the half guard means that I've got one leg free to move where I want it, but the other leg is trapped between his legs, which means that he can block me here with his knee, and even if his knee has gone past my hip, that he can kind of seal me in and hold me here, you know, just don't keep it, just go like triangle half guard there. Yeah. Even if I'm able to like get past his knee, that his my leg is still stuck between his legs. Okay, so that's our problem there. And even when I go beyond it, if he shoots his underhook here, he can use that to begin to come up, and then we end up in that sort of single leg position with one leg trapped. So I've got a couple of problems. The first is going to be my first problem, which is the knee. But I need to be conscious of the fact that he's always trying to shoot his underhook underneath my elbow and trying to come up. So I need to also be very conscious of that. In this position, I'm going to give you a couple of the big mistakes that people make when they're beginning. And then we'll go on from there and we'll do a bit more detail, right? So the big mistakes are head hunting, trying to grab the person's head when you don't have the right to, in other words, when you haven't beaten the legs. So we're going to think about going past the legs before we do anything, okay? Before we earn the opportunity to get near the upper body. And when I say upper body, that's my next big mistake, which is ignoring this arm completely and trying to grab the head in some way, shape or form, which gives him exactly what he wants, okay? So what we're going to focus on today is this side of his body, and this side of my body, I should say, the side that he's on. The first one is the top knee, obviously, and then after that, we're going to focus on his underhook arm here. Okay, we're going to do a simple pass at the start, and then we're going to work from there, okay? So, first things first, the knee shield. It's a pain, and actually it's probably the hardest thing to teach today because it's really, really difficult to get past, especially if he's got like a good position on it. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to do a really simple clearance. Camera won't be able to see me, but it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pocket grip on his pants. I'm going to turn around in a second, guys, so you'll be able to see it. And I'm going to place my fist like down towards his ankle so that I'm like punching into his calf here, okay? Punching into the top of his shin. While I'm doing this, guys, I'm keeping myself up and I'm keeping my arm here. We're going to have to hand fight a little bit probably. If I can control his collar, that's just fine. But I prefer to make sure that he does nothing with this hand, so I'm just going to plant my hand on it here like this, and I'm going to staple it to the mat, just for a moment, okay? And from here, I'm going to straighten this arm as I like punch and move myself out of the way. And you can see that pretty successfully clears his knee if I do it right and with good timing. So what I'm looking for here, staple his arm down, knuckles down towards his calf. I'm going to dig my knuckles in, I'm going to shoot my arm straight, and I'm going to use the power of my body to come back here. All right, to try and finish that. The next thing I'm going to do is immediately pummel underneath his arm. This is very important. This is going to be one of our most important things tonight, is to make sure you're underneath this arm when you pass. Okay, so the arm has gone underneath. Now, I'm going to put my head on the mat, this side, and walk him to his back. Tuck his arm under. This is as far as we're going to get. We're not going to bother passing just now. We're just going to get to this good, safe position, okay? So, I'm going to show this a couple of times. Knuckles down, staple his hand. Punch, wrap, and make sure you're underneath this arm. If he puts this arm underneath yours now, we go back and we get it again. Head down on the near side, walk him so that he's flat on his back and his hips are flat on the mat. Tuck this arm underneath your arm, and we're ready to begin our pass. Okay? Let's show it again. Just move around. So, people in cheap seats behind me. Staple, knuckles down, shoot that arm here, and that's going to wrap so that I underhook his arm here. Head to the mat beside his head on this side of his body. Catch. And dig here so that you grab his tricep. So you can see all my weight is kind of on towards his near side shoulder and his bicep. My head just about touching the mat. He's still got my leg, but the knee shield is gone. That's all we're going to do for now, yeah? Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Couldn't be easier. So, look at me. Look at when I'm going to do this, guys. When I'm doing this first move, when I staple the hand, and I'm doing this first move here, this can be really hard to get. So you'll see what I'm not doing is this is never going to move out full. Not in a million years, just by pushing it away. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually moving and making an angle, I'm slapping myself out. So I'm taking my hip out of the equation, so I'm like nearly dropping them so that my head is like facing away from him and turning, rotating my hips, because that's where the connection is. He's got a connection to my hip there. So when I turn, I just move myself out and back in. Not for long, I don't want to be stuck it there for long, like he pushes my head or anything like that, but from here, staple, move back in. So rather than just trying to push the leg away, which is very, very difficult, you're not going to do that. Alternatively, you could take the hand here and you can like pull, push, and try to like wriggle your way in as well. If you do want the two hands, the pair of two hands as well. There's other ways of doing it as well, like turning his hips up and stuff like that. We're just going to focus on this one for today, okay? So this is the first movement of it. All good? Okay. So we're going to look at the underhook and we're going to look at the pin and then we're going to try to pass the guard. So this is going to feel really counterintuitive because whenever you try and get on top of somebody, you feel like you want to push down on them. But actually, as we saw in the half guard class a few weeks ago, the more my weight's on him, the more chance he has of sweeping me, okay, in this position. So the more I try to like put my weight in a certain way on top of them, the more chance he has of sweeping me. So when I clear this, underhook here, I'm going to put my head on this side. Okay? Now, when he tries to like bridge me this way, or go this way, my weight is too centered on the other side. If my head is on the other way, underside, you can fit it out and move me. Will he successfully do it? Maybe not, because I still have the underhook and I've still got good weight. But that's going to be all of his opportunities are going to come from that, okay? So we're going to pass now. So from here, clear. Oops, sorry, I'm still here. Head down, and now I'm going to put my weight on his bicep. Okay? And right now I'm going to flatten myself out. And if you're like beginning jiu-jitsu, you're going to feel that this is not a good position because you'll feel like you're not on him. But you don't have to be on him all the time, okay, to pass his guard. As long as I keep this underhook here, he doesn't really have an option to turn to my back. So you're going to feel that once your head goes down here, you're going to feel like he's on your back. But once Al tries to turn to my back, this is going to keep him off. Okay? Okay, from here, I'm going to lie on his thigh. I'm going to keep like sprawling. Okay, and I'm lying on his inner thigh. I'm going to take my free leg and shoot it up to my knee until I get my foot on top of his thigh. Or shoot it up to my head, I should say, until I get my foot on top of his thigh. Once I can do that, I'm going to kick his thigh away and walk up for the pass. Okay. Let's have a look at that. Swing around here right now. Okay. Pummel for the underhook. If he pummels again, just a reminder, I go again. Now, can you see that I'm lying on his thigh? And I'm like spread out. My hips are turning away from him. So now when I kick this knee up to my chest here like this, my foot is going on top of his knee. Kick. Kick that leg free. Let's talk one more mistake that people make when they start. And that's facing him before their leg is free. What I mean by that is, you get here, do everything now, and then you try to do this. Again, you're not going to pass the guard because your hips aren't free. So my goal is going to be to turn my belly and my hips away from him and walk out of his half guard. So obviously if I turn, I can't do that unless I'm moonwalking out of his half guard, in which case you can obviously walk down, but you have to walk forwards. In like 99% of situations, you have to walk forwards, right? So from here, that's what I'm going to do. So from here, I'm off of him. So there's my right hip here isn't even on his hip. Does that make sense, everybody? And if you're just patient here sometimes, you just hold this position. Sometimes he'll even offer you the sweep by trying to go to your back. He'll like offer you the pass, I should say. Because he needs to open his guard. Okay? The difficult bit for most people is going to be to have the confidence to take notes, right? So some people say it's hard to get your foot up on the knee sometimes. That can happen when your partner just keeps bringing their knees up close. It can happen when there's a limb length difference. In other words, I'm much taller than my opponent on bottom. And it can happen when I'm not very flexible and I can't get my leg up. There's a number of reasons why you wouldn't. So I'm going to show one little quick technique and then we move on. It's all going to be with the same leg. The other leg's trapped, can't do anything about anything. Okay? So when I get in here, I can like posture up sometimes, like shake him off, but I'm always afraid he might pop this butterfly hook in or, yeah, come back to like a better guard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to keep low, and I'm going to try to use my back leg to pummel. So when I go here, I'm off his hips. I can't get my leg up here, so I'm going to go to his top leg and kick it through. Okay? Now if I just take my leg back off, he's just going to reattach. So from here, I'm going to kick the top leg free, and then I'm going to staple it on top of the other leg. See? Here like this. Now even if you go to try and trap and close his leg, he's only got my one leg. Okay? When you cross your feet up, not really. Okay? And I'm going to wedge inside. Come through. You want to see that again? So, I try this, it's my priority, I can't get there. So, I keep turning my head, I go to the top leg, kick it, bring my foot down on the bottom leg. Stretch it. And come on. Want to give it a shot? Let's go. 3, 2, 1. What to do is we're going to work on like a bit of a worst case scenario now, and we're going to use a twist. So the twist we're going to use, we're going to turn towards his legs. So this is the time I do turn towards his leg, and it's when he's won the underhook. So if I go here and he's like hits the underhook already, now, yeah, I can still do the pass that we did by just connecting to his head. That still will work in this situation, believe it or not, even though I said earlier it wouldn't, or it's not a good idea. But in general, it's not a good idea to do. But instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit what we call the twist, which is a more safe option. So, and in this situation, I clear his legs, but he wins the underhook here. Gets his underhook in here like this, and I'm not able to pummel. Or I feel it's too much of a risk that if I come up to pummel, he's going to follow and come up. Or, yeah, replace his guard. Okay, it's just come up this time. So from here, I feel like he's got underneath my arm, okay? And I feel like if I lift the weight here, he's going to come up. And he's going to come up and take my back or sweep me, okay? So from here, I'm going to make that clear. Here. And now he's won the underhook, okay? And I know what he wants to do. I know he wants to be on his side. I'll get up on his elbow here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist. I'm going to face his legs. I can't pass right now using the pass that I just did. So I'm going to bring my armpit to here, and I'm going to twist and face his legs, like this. I'm going to make a connection here on his pants just so he can't shoot me up too much. And I've got a free hand here to either connect his wrist or begin to mess with his legs. Okay. So the twist, guys, has to happen in a certain way. I have to like land about like just below his delt. Too low, and I don't really get what I want. He's able to like come up almost to my back, which I'll show in a second. He's able to pummel this arm behind my back, which I don't want. Too high, and I'll like slip off towards his head, which can help him go to my back. So from here, when I clear like this, let's go. I go too low. He's able to either sit up or go back. Just put your hand down there. Just stay in your back for a second. He's able to pummel his hand in behind me, frame on my back, and that's going to cause me a problem. Or I go too high up here right onto his shoulder, and when he lifts his arm even up, just simply move back a little bit. I'm going to lose my balance. Can everybody see why that would be the case? Yeah. So the optimal position for trapping his arm is like about midway down his upper arm. Okay, tricep kind of below the shoulder joint. So when I go here, instead of thinking about like hitting here, grabbing his head, doing anything like that, just on top of his tricep, so that I can control here. I'm going to make a connection here like this, just for now. But I don't need this hand to be where it is right for too long. So let me just lower down this area a little bit just so I can. Thanks. Thanks, Nate. So from here, we're facing his legs, and again, this can seem like counterintuitive because I'm like facing backwards. Okay, so it can seem like I don't want to be here because like he can go to my back, but he can't easily go to my back, like I said, without this arm being behind me. Okay, so I need to keep that connected. We have got like our Kimura options. That's not what we're doing today. Today we're just going to focus on guard passing. Okay, focusing on guard passing. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a connection on, kind of like switch my grip a little bit. I'm going to use my hand that's closest to his legs here. And from here, I can move this down to his pants. Okay, so I'm just going to control his hips 100%. Okay, you can grab the belt here as well, guys. Remember, sometimes the belt will lead you to slide off. So I'm going to just make 2 grips on the pants here. My job now is going to be to start walking this foot up, to start bringing his feet off the mat. Very uncomfortable for him because he's got to keep his knees elevated. And from here, I can use my elbow. And I'm going to free his knees. Everybody see that? So once my knee is free and poking out, that's good news for me. Okay, I've got a calculated risk to make now. I'm going to make sure that I'm good to go, and I feel like I've got good control. I'm going to keep control of this hip, and I'm going to take this hand off now, and when I go, I'm going to bring it in behind his head. This is the most difficult part of the pass for me, to try to get my hand back in here. Okay, it can be quite tricky and quite difficult. Sometimes what I'll have to do, when I do it, is I'll have to maybe lean across, wrap, and then bring it underneath. Okay? He's going to keep trying to bring this knee up. I'm going to keep using my elbow here. Okay? Everybody happy with that? All right. To finish the pass, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my knee in front of his bottom knee, which I'll show on the other side, and start to push away again with my foot. Your job now is not to step out or anything. If he opens his guard completely and forgets that he forgets about Jiu Jitsu for a while, you're just going to back step out. But let's assume he's going to clamp on your foot and he's going to hold you in here. Now I've got my bottom knee in front of his thigh. I'm going to start to slide my hips back. I put my toes on his knee in the same way that we did before. Don't worry, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to show that. I'm going to kick away, free my foot, and come up past this guard. Turn back in then when I'm ready. Okay, let's swing it around so we can see the other side, you can see the footwork. Big time up.
I thought you were going to spin before me.
No, I'm too lazy. So from here, I clear, I get my underhook, but he shoots here. I don't want to come back now and go for my original pass. I'm going to switch to the other side, connect to his pants here like this so I can get an anchor immediately. Grip his hip, making sure I'm on the deltoid. I might have to adjust a little bit. Now I'll go to the bottom of his pants here. So I got like a good control of his hips on both sides. Use my knee first to make life difficult for him, and now use my elbow. I need to see my kneecap. He's going to keep bringing that back up, remember? So I keep clearing it. My knee is in front of his hip originally. Don't let your knee point at the ceiling or the bottom leg. You're way off balance, okay? So keep your knee flat on the mat. Now, slide back, adjust, get underneath his head, slide back, foot on his thigh, slide back, slide back. Okay? So we're clearing like that. Clearing really patiently, okay? Same again. Clear. Slide your hips back to finish. Make sure you're doing that, okay? And we're good to go. Okay, twist pass, guys. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. A lot of detail, I know, so. Alright, I'm just going to show one more thing, and then for the same pass, okay? So, I'm going to show you just like what ideally, like in a lot of passes like this is what you want. Okay? The head facing one way, knees facing the other. Your opponent's spine is really, really badly out of alignment, and that's what's going to get you the pass. So we're never going to sacrifice. Once we get a hand underneath here, it's really, really important to keep their chin pointing at the ceiling. Now, a couple of weeks ago we spoke about side control, we spoke about getting on the neck. Today is the day we go across the jaw, right? Really hard across the jaw so that their head faces the ceiling or away from them. So when I get under here, when we got to here, if he can look at me now, and that means he can get on his side pretty comfortably. And let's say I even get past his legs and I pass. He's got a lot of space and a lot of movement to try and come back. So once I got my hand in here on the twist, look where my shoulder is, really tight to his jaw. Face me now, Al. No, doesn't fancy it too much, right? I don't blame him. So when I go here, sometimes I'll even, if I'm having trouble like clearing his legs and he keeps his knees to the ceiling all the time, once I clear my knee, I'll even catch his knee and like push it down like this, because this sucks for him now. His knees pointing one way, his spine in a twist, and his head pointing up towards the ceiling. and that's going to make him weaker to step down. I have some good news. I always like to share good news. A lot of times, your opponent's going to, especially when they're a little bit inexperienced, your opponent is going to think they're in charge when you turn, and they're going to open the legs for you. Now that will happen a little bit, right up to like blue belt, and then they'll stop opening. Okay, bad news. Alright, so they go, oh no, I've seen this before. So even when I get here, a lot of times the guy will go, yippee, I'm going to open, and you're just going to step out. But let's focus on one thing, because if your opponent does that and you're not ready for them, they might bridge you over. So they're going to try and maybe bridge you up sometimes. So when I get here, they're in a winning position, they're going to bridge their feet onto the mat, and if you're lazy, they're going to come out on top. If you're not aware of what they're doing, you're going to come out on top. So whenever you have this position, regardless of whether you have the handle on the neck or not, what you're going to do is be ready to like hard back step. So as soon as you see his feet open, so even if Al bridges now, Al, you're going to bridge. Bridge, bridge, bridge. I'm still winning. I've got a big post back here. Now he can't come out. So you're going to anticipate his leg opening all the time in this situation, yeah? Going to give that a shot then? Good heavy shoulder pressure now this time. Same pass. You can try the first one as well while we do it. And also ready to back step if they open their legs. Yeah, good to go. 3, 2, 1.